Hello, good afternoon, good morning. My name is Marcus, and I will be running this week's deep dive. This week, we're going to be taking a close look into monitoring and the different types of monitoring profiles that we can use. But before we jump into the dashboard and take a look, I will just guide you around here for those that haven't been here before. So to the right side, you should see a few tabs. We have a chat tab where we can say hello to each other. So I'll just say hi, everyone. And to the right of the chat tab, we have a questions tab. So if you have any questions throughout today's sessions that are relevant to monitoring, or otherwise known as social listening, please feel free to add those in the questions tab. And I will be joined by my colleague Patrick from the support team, and he'll be able to answer any questions that you guys have. I think Patrick's just popped up to say hi in the chat. Okay, excellent. So for those that have joined us before, you know we like to do some Sendible icebreakers to get to know each other. So today's icebreaker, so I'm based in the UK. Lockdown is kind of over, so hopefully we're soon to fly and take holidays. So I would like to know which has been your favorite holiday destination, and maybe you can get my ideas flowing. So while you guys let me know where I should be booking a holiday, I'll start to share my screen. Let's just take a quick look at some answers. India, Sri Lanka, Australia, places I've never been to. Greece, I love Greece, pretty easy. Wales, Craig, keep it local, why not? Italy, lovely. Yeah, staycation. I think I've done a lot of staycation, Laura. So it's time to spread my wings, I think. Zanzibar, wow. I heard Peru is actually quite nice. That's on one of my lists. Okay, I'm going to start to share my screen now. Hopefully you should be able to see it in just a second. So everyone should be able to see my priority inbox at this stage. What I want to really do is, because we're going to be looking at the monitoring profiles. So I'm just going to head over to profiles and add profiles. Because when you're in the add profile section, over on the right hand side, you've got different types of profiles that you can add. So by default, we're showing you social profiles, as we believe you're going to want to add your Facebook, your Instagram, Twitter, etc. But we have a category called monitoring, and this is where we're going to be looking at today. So under monitoring, there's some further profiles which you can add. So we've got the brand and keyword monitoring. And for those that join these sessions every week, we recently ran a session on brand and keywords, and you can view that full session. I'm just going to add the link to that deep dive in the chat. So for anyone that missed brand and keyword monitoring, then you can use the link that I've just added to the chat to find out, to watch it in full. But we will sort of cover and take a look quickly for those that haven't seen brand and keyword monitoring before. We'll also take a look at the other monitoring options available, which is mainly exclusive to Twitter, but it has a little bit of difference between brand keyword. So let's start with the brand and keyword monitoring. So every time you set up a brand and keyword monitor, that's going to be shown under the monitor section. So if I click into keywords, you'll see some of the previous ones that I've built. So what I want to do is just kind of show you how I went around building one of these lists and the results that I'm going to get. So I'm going to take a look at Sendible overall, Sendible X social media, which I think is a good one. And I can click the edit button here to bring up my form. For those that don't have any previous monitors, you can just select new monitor, which will bring up the same form. I'm just going to show you one that I've kind of done already. So if I click edit in a new tab, it's going to open up the form, and then you can see the sort of terms and everything that I used in order to build this monitoring list. So I've called it Sendible X social media because the aim that I want to do is to find any mentions of Sendible along with some of the features that we offer. So it needs to contain the word Sendible. Okay, so I've put that as my top line keyword, but I also want to layer this with some of the features that we provide. So I've added terms like social media, publishing, scheduling, engage, and so on. So you can see I'm trying to pull through any mentions on the internet of Sendible along with one of these terms. I have the option to exclude some terms. So if I wanted to, maybe keep it at Sendible and make sure I don't see anything regarding Hootsuite or some other competitors, then I can put them in my exclusion field here. So then no mentions would come up. You have the option to include or exclude curse words from your list. I've decided not to in this case, as I'd want to see everything that comes in. And then you can enhance your results by adding your Google Alerts feed as well. And you can also set up email notifications. So maybe I'd want to know a summary of my mentions. Then I can select one of these frequency options, and then just include my or multiple email addresses so we can receive a summary at the end of each day. Okay, fantastic. So once that's been built, then you will get your list of results. So I've just selected my keyword list here, and then over on the left, you'll get a full stream of people that have been mentioning Sendible alongside one of the features that we have. So we've got global social media suites. So a list of a few options, including Sendible. So Sendible alongside social media, which is why this has been included. And it doesn't need to be mentioned as well. As you can see, Sendible wasn't tagged. So without using this monitoring keyword list, I may not have been notified that we've been sort of mentioned in a tweet. So over on the right hand side, I can actually take actions based off the Twitter profile that I've got installed. So I can change the sentiment. So currently it's come through as a neutral sentiment shown by the gray circle here. But I can change this to positive or negative. I can also take sort of Twitter actions such as retweeting or replying directly to that user. Okay, so each of my monitoring keyword lists are shown and will be listed as a profile. So with profiles, I can sort of share with other users in my dashboard. So I could head over to my profiles. Here's my brand and keyword monitoring profiles. So I could share these with other users. So if so you don't all have to create the same one. You can create one and share that with your team. Anything that's been shared with you will sort of live under a subheading, keywords that have been shared with me. And then you can engage with other sort of monitoring lists as well. Okay, so that is monitoring. And as I said, I've put the full session in the chat. So please feel free to watch that at your own convenience. Now, I do want to show you some other profiles that we have. So if I go back to add profiles and to monitoring, you can see we've got Twitter search, a profile search, and Twitter lists. So let's have a look at how each of these work. So when you're monitoring Twitter for search terms, so let's go ahead and add this profile. It's going to give us a very similar form where we can add a description and then add sort of the keywords and the different sort of layers that we want. So I'm not sure if you've seen the news, but sort of this week, they tried to announce a Super League to replace what is known as the Champions League. It's all sort of football related. So maybe I want to listen in to what's being said about the Super League. So I've called it Super League. Now, the first thing it's asking is for what words should we include. So it's actually saying any words I put in, it kind of needs to include all of them. So I'm just going to put one phrase in here, just Super League. Okay, you could treat this as like an and. So if I was to put another comment in, it would need to contain both of those words. I'm just going to keep it quite simple and say, make sure it does contain Super League. Then I want to add an additional layer. So Super League and then I'm going to add some additional layers in here. So I want to find out about the English teams being spoken about in relation to the Super League. So I've got a few of the English teams that were mentioned, and I'm going to see results where Super League is mentioned alongside one of these teams. Now you can, as before, add some exclusion terms. So maybe because I know this is the sport of football or soccer for the American audience, then maybe I could exclude some terms. So maybe I don't want anything to do with the NFL or the NBA, for example. We do have options to search for tweets from specific users, and you can actually exclude specific users as you want. We'll revisit this in just a second. Let's save our results here. Okay, and then let's go and view the results for our Twitter search. So if I head back into engage in this example, and those Twitter profiles are going to be found in your streams. So you can see I now have a Twitter search option featuring Super League. So now we are looking at all mentions of the word Super League in combination with Liverpool or Arsenal or one of those teams that I've added in. So you can see you can view these in full. You can take those sort of same Twitter actions as well as we saw before. You can also sort of click on the user over here, and that will open up their context card to where you can sort of read their bio, view their timeline, anytime they've been mentioned, and so on. And you've got some options to engage with that user as well. Okay, so if you ever needed to edit one of your profiles, that is very easy to do so. You can find them under profiles and under my profiles. And then if I scroll down a bit here, here's my Super League Twitter search. So I can go in and then I can edit that form. So what I want to do at this stage is find tweets by a specific user. So I still want my keyword terms, but I want to see only tweets from the Sky Sports Premier League handle. So I can save my search and then go back to my stream. And what I would expect to see is still very much Super League related tweets, but only from that Sky Sports handle. So here we go. Here's the Sky Sports Premier League and all of the tweets that they have in regards to Super League and mentioning Arsenal. Okay, so I hope that is clear, but please remember, any questions, feel free to add them into the questions tab. Perfect. Okay, let's head back over to profiles and take a look at some of the other options that we can do. So remember, it's add profiles and monitoring. So taking a look at the first two, what we can also do is actually bring in profiles that contain a certain keyword. So let's go ahead and add this. This is a much sort of simplified form here. So what I want to do is look for any profiles that maybe contain my favorite football team, being Arsenal. So I can call this Arsenal profiles. Okay. And then I want just a simple search term for Arsenal. There we go. So now if I head back into my streams, we will be able to find that stream. Just a second, here we go. So we can see we've got Arsenal profiles that is listed under Twitter profile search. And now we've got a list of all Twitter profiles along with their bios and how many followers that they have that sort of contain Arsenal either in their name or in their bio. So from here, and take those sort of actions that we can see on their card. Okay, fantastic. So the last option via the monitoring profiles is the option to bring in any Twitter lists that you have. So for those that are asking what is a Twitter list, let's just navigate over to Twitter. So you can see once you're logged into Twitter, on the left-hand side, you've got the option for lists. So what lists will allow you to do is to kind of create a custom audience of Twitter users. So I've got 2 lists at the moment. I've got a list of Arsenal players and people in the media, and I've got a sort of MMA list. So what we can do is let's have a look here. So I've just selected my Arsenal one. So you can see I've got 33 members in this list, and let's take a quick look. So I can manage my members over here. So here's my members. So this would be a list of all tweets made by the members in this list. So I've got 33 members here, and remember I've got a secondary list here, just with 4 members. So like ESPN, UFC, and just a couple of handles that I'm interested in. So we can actually bring these lists into Sendible quite easy. So what we want to do is first add the Twitter list profile type. Okay, and we can authorize the app here. And it's going to take me back to a form where it's going to show me the list that I have available. And then I can just say, okay, I want to bring in the Arsenal players one. Save the settings, and then I could just redo those steps to bring in my other list. So to bring in my MMA list. Okay, so I've saved my settings here. So now I can head back to engage, and under streams, so it's just bringing in a new list here. Let's just hit the priority inbox and come back. Perfect. So you can see under Twitter list, I now have the 2 Twitter lists that I've just added. So tweets from all of my Arsenal related handles here, exactly how I would have seen them on Twitter, versus a list of my MMA related handles and their tweets. Okay, perfect. And then the same actions are available on the right hand side. And just to reiterate, these profiles that you can see via streams are all available now under my profiles. Okay, so you've got your brand and keyword ones. And if I scroll down a little bit, you can see I've got my profiles, my Twitter list, and my Twitter search. Okay, and that can always be filtered by profile types over here as well. Okay, fantastic. So that is what I wanted to run through today. I think I've kind of gone on for 5 minutes extra, but I do want to invite Patrick in so he can go over your questions and provide you with some answers. So Patrick, if you can hear me, please join the stage.
Hello.
Hello there. Perfect. So let's have a quick look at some of the questions here. Oh, Patrick, I can see you've been answering them as well.
Yeah. So the first one I wanted to look at was the involving the keyword search only working for Twitter. So right now I have my keyword search up, which I'll just show is pretty much looking for, oh, that went behind it. Let me pull it over here, which is looking for Bernese Mountain Dogs and Bernese Mountain Dog puppies. So what I'm doing with that is you'll see a lot of my options are Twitter, but I can choose here in my filter by type to choose different options. So Twitter is going to appear under that microblogs category, but if I switch to images, you'll see it pulls from different sites. I believe this is Flickr, and I can choose different images I want from here. I could also choose news, which I know will give me Reddit information, which these are easy to remove as well. Kind of talking on Laura's question around picking up handle tags and hashtags. So if you didn't want these Reddit ones because you just don't care about what the conversation is on Reddit for your business, you could check out the /u/ as in your no search terms, and then that would remove Reddit options. It's the same as adding RT into your options here if you didn't want any retweets. So if you wanted to remove retweets, you could just add RT here into the doesn't have these words. And then so when it loads, your Twitter posts should be free of any retweets. And that'll help keep it cleaned up. The other thing we see a lot of, there's no question for it, but I did want to just kind of cover it. Let me see if I can pull up the right thing here. We get sometimes, can I have my responses filtered in a certain language? Unfortunately, this isn't a feature necessarily at the moment, but you can do some fun tricks to basically make sure you get the information that you want. So in this example, I have Dove chocolate and I have responses in English, and then I have Dove chocolate and responses that aren't in English. And pretty much I'll show these settings as well. So I'm looking for Dove, and because I don't want birds and I forgot about soap, so I do actually have a lot of responses about soap in this, I didn't add that into doesn't have these words, but here I would be mostly getting things about Dove chocolate and cocoa, and my responses are mostly in English. But let's say I wanted something else, and maybe I wanted some more foreign responses. I could go here and adjust my settings. And while this isn't necessarily perfect, I do like to ask, add in common words that appear in the language you want. So in this case, I wanted oui, bien, mal, just to know that that's going to pull the language. And so I'll be able to get those responses. And then the same thing, I wanted to make sure there was no birds or birds. And then I just wanted to look up French for bird, so I can add that in as well to try and stop that from happening on the French results I pull in. So just looking at the difference in these here, for Dove chocolate English, all my responses here do appear to be in English. And then when I switch keyword monitors, you can see that most of them are not. So this should allow you to, at least you can, tailor your terms a bit to, what works for you and what language you want your responses to be in, but at least you can get something along the lines of what you're looking for. I did also want to mention too, as Marcus talked about, having those profiles shared. So if one is shared with you and it's Twitter search or profile list, you'll find those just as well in your stream section here. So only the keyword monitor ones will appear in that shared with you under keyword monitors. And I think that is, that's the things I wanted to cover.
Awesome. Thank you, Patrick. I'll just last sort of call out for any sort of other questions. I'll give you guys just a couple of minutes. I see Jake is typing, so he might have something for us. Oh, no, he's just saying thanks again, gentlemen. Oh, well, thank you, Jake. That is very nice of you to say. Right. Well, if there is no other questions, I guess we can give you 7 minutes back, you lucky guys. But please join us again next week. We will have a marketing expert joining us. That's going to kind of take you through like the best practices and kind of how to measure your results as well. So that's going to be something new to look forward to. I hope it goes well. And yeah, I will wish you guys a lovely afternoon. Just to see if there's any more questions. No, looks like people are just saying thank you. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure, everyone. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope it's been useful. I look forward to seeing you adding all of your new Twitter profiles into your dashboards. And if you need any assistance, please always feel free to reach out to, you can get Patrick at sendible.com/I need help. And he'll always be on hand to answer any questions. So thank you again for all of your lovely comments. And I wish you a great afternoon and rest of your day. Awesome. Patrick, thanks again for your assistance.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. Goodbye.